Oh, crikey. Sorry about that. I was making this video and I just fell asleep. Hi, it's Alex Goodall here from Your Digital Ally. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about a topic which some people might think is the most boring topic in digital marketing. And that could be quite dangerous for you because you may decide that it is so boring you don't even bother watching the video through to the end. Even worse, you may unsubscribe from my mailing list and from my channel, or you may decide never to have anything else to do with me again in the future because I only talk about boring subjects. You see, what I'm going to be talking about is keeping records in digital marketing. And I have to admit that on the surface that does sound as if it could be a tad boring, which probably explains why very few other people talk about the subject. But I take a different view. I actually find this subject very exciting. I find there's huge potential in it for building a business. And what I want to do in this video is make the case why you should be excited about it, because what I'm going to be covering is making the point that good administration and record keeping can contribute to global growth and success lasting over 3 centuries, which may sound a bit like hype and overstatement, but actually I'm going to make that point, and that's a good enough reason, I hope, why you're going to watch this video right through to the end. And I'm going to start by talking about this good-looking chap, Samuel Pepys, born in 17th century England, born in 1633 in Fleet Street in London. And if you've heard of Pepys at all, it's most likely because of the famous diaries that he kept. In fact, some people say he was the most famous diarist in the world. Partly because of the accuracy with which he wrote his accounts, including an account of the Great Plague and the Fire of London, but also because of the honesty and integrity of his writing, including his accounts of his affairs with his actresses and housemaids. But Pepys was a lot more than a diarist and multiple philanderer. Amongst his many accomplishments was the great work he did for the English Royal Navy. You see, in 1667, at the end of the Anglo-Dutch War, the English Navy was in a real terrible state. In fact, that was the second Anglo-Dutch War. All in all, we've had 6 wars with our Dutch friends. But just for the record, the Netherlands is now one of our most favourite countries. But in 1667, the English were really unhappy with Anglo-Dutch relationships, and to be fair, the feeling was mutual and for very good reasons. And this picture shows an example of what was being posted on 17th century version of Instagram. And it shows what happened at the end of the war in 1667. The details are that the Dutch Navy sailed up the Thames estuary, broke through the barriers and set fire to the English fleet that was moored there. Not only did the Navy lose 13 of its ships, but the Dutch captured and sailed away with the 2 best ships in the Navy. So as military defeats go, they don't get more humiliating than that. By the way, this picture was painted by, bear with me a second while I read the name, Peter Cornelis van Soest. Now, I'm pretty sure I got that pronunciation wrong, but you can tell that it was not an Englishman that painted it. It was actually a Dutchman, which is actually hardly surprising. But 12 years later, things were very different. If Pepys had had an Instagram account in those days, this is the sort of picture that he would have been posting. Because during those 12 years, Pepys had worked his magic on the Royal Navy. To quote from the Encyclopaedia Britannica, not only had he doubled the Navy's fighting strength, but he had given it what it had never possessed before, and what it never again lost, which is a great administrative tradition of order, discipline and service. And the rest, as they say, is history. Over the next 3 centuries, England and later the UK was involved in many successful wars, in rampant empire building and in trading across the globe. And even after the loss of the empire, the UK is still the 5th or 6th largest economy in the world. Now, I'm not saying that that was due entirely to having an effective and efficient Royal Navy, but it almost certainly would never have happened without the Navy playing such a role. And what was it again that Pepys did? He created a great administrative tradition. In fact, his success with the Royal Navy was due in no small part to his habit of making careful entries of all contracts and memoranda in large vellum books, beautifully ruled by Elizabeth Pepys and her maids, and of keeping copies of his official letters. In other words, he was a superb administrator and record keeper. So I rest my case. You may find administration and record keeping to be boring, but it's absolutely essential to long-term success and can even define the trajectory of a whole nation. So what's the point of all this? Well, I just wanted to point out that maybe, just maybe, it's worth you while paying attention to record keeping for the long-term success of your business. I hope I've made that point using Pepys and his record keeping as an example, and I look forward to talking to you more in a future video. Thanks for your attention. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful and interesting. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you would click the like button below to show your appreciation, and also please do make a comment. Finally, please do click this circle right here to subscribe to my channel so you get notified of my future videos, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.